Councilmember Meister, Councilmember Beltran,
Present.
Councilmember Whiterock,
Present.
Vice Mayor Carrillo, Mayor Flores.
Present. We'll now go into oral communications. This is the opportunity to address the City Council on any matter scheduled for closed session. Unless additional time is authorized by the council, all commentary shall be limited to 3 minutes. Is there anyone that would like to come forward for closed session items?
Hello, good evening. Ed McCurvey. Not too many people here tonight. I noticed that on the closed door session, you guys have the city manager again. And I'm going to come back before you again and repeat much of what I said before. Let's make sure that the new council gets a chance to make this selection. There's no reason at the 11th hour, and it's more like 11:59 here, that you would make this decision in haste. You know, what I've learned throughout leadership is that there's always an acting person. When our city manager is not available, there's an acting city manager, and there's even a second level. So we can operate our city for a period of time without a city manager, and it's no problem. We need to make sure that in all the rhetoric, and I spew a lot of this rhetoric from the audience too, about unity and leadership and how we run our city and how we have a peaceful transfer of power and we don't be political. This decision to try to put a city manager in is a real serious decision that the new council needs to make. And it's important to respect the new council just as it is to respect the old council, to come before you and say, please, do the right thing. Let the new council make this decision. It's not difficult. It's something, as you guys leave, this may be one of your last meetings, that you can say, hey, let's leave this for the next council and do the right thing for our city, and make sure that the next council gets to select from that short list of people that they're going to be working with. When John was here, he was here for 17 years. It's a decision that's 17 years long in that case. It's a big decision, and there's only 2 positions that the city hires, and that's one of the most important decisions of the selections of the 2. And so I would just implore you to say, hey, discretion is the better part of valor. There's no reason to rush through this. Let the new council make this decision. Put this off until the new council is sworn in next week, and then they can start that process and get it done expeditiously for the city without an interruption. And we can do the right thing for our city for both the past and future councils. And that council will be able to work with the city manager hand in glove on the agenda that the people sent the new council members to achieve. It's important that we honor that, and we honor the vote, we honor the men, and we honor the candidates, that they not be put in a position that may be even perceived as political. Please do the right thing. I come before you again to say what I've said the last few meetings, and I would just appreciate it if you guys could consider that again, because it's still on the agenda and it's still moving, and I want to make sure that I say my piece and get on the record. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McCurvey. Is there anyone else? Do we have anyone on virtually?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. We'll now go on into the City Council closed session items.
Thank you, Your Honor. There are 7 items before you this evening in closed session. The first being pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.8, conference with real property negotiators. Properties APNs 253-160-064, 065, 069, 7D, and 261-125-018, 19, and 20. Agency negotiators, Patrice Hildreth and Jason Ridenour. Negotiating parties, City of Porterville and James Gregory Shelton, under negotiations, terms, and price. Number 2 is pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.95, liability claim claimant, Rick Sullins, agency claimed against City of Porterville. Number 3 is pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, Pouncey versus Silva et al., Fresno Superior Court Case 24CCG03764. Number 4 is pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, Cox versus City of Porterville, U.S. District Court, Eastern District, case number 124CV00878, KES SAB. Number 5 is pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D3, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation, 3 cases in which facts are not yet known to potential plaintiffs. Number 6 is pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D4, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, initiation of litigation, 1 case. And lastly, number 7 is pursuant to Government Code Section 54957, public employment, city manager.
Thank you. It is 5:35, and we will now go into closed session. 6:35, we will reconvene open session and report on reportable action taken in closed session.
Thank you, Mayor. There's one item to report on item A2, the claim from Rick Sullins on a motion by Mayor Flores, seconded by Councilmember Beltran, and a 5-0 vote. That claim was denied. Thank you.
Thank you. I invite you to please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, and to please remain standing for an invocation or moment of silence. Salute, pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there anyone that would like to come forward and do an invocation?
Shall we pray? Heavenly Father, thank you so much for bringing us through this great holiday week of Thanksgiving. It's an American holiday. We love Thanksgiving because it's like Christmas without the presents, with family and friends, and just a time to be thankful for everything that we have been blessed with in this great country. Lord, as we shift to the Christmas season and celebrate the birth of Christ, help us to be in that spirit of thanksgiving, not just in this season, Lord, but hopefully it carries throughout our lives and throughout the year. Be with us this evening as we conduct the city's business. Help us to make the right trade-offs and serve our community well. And all these things I pray in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward? Not, you may be seated. Employee of the Month, is Laura Torres Salcido here? Please come forward. Laura Torres Salcido was born and raised in the city of Porterville. Laura graduated from Porterville High School and pursued her education at College of the Sequoias, where she obtained her Associate of Science degree in Criminal Justice, along with the completion of the Tulare Kings Police Academy in 2014. Laura started her law enforcement career in 2015 with the Tulare County Sheriff's Office, where she worked as a patrol deputy and a bailiff. In 2018, she lateral transferred to the Tulare County District Attorney's Office, where she worked as a criminal investigator. In 2019, Laura joined the Porterville Police Department, where she has worked in various assignments. Laura has been assigned as a patrol officer, a detective in the General Investigations Unit, and is currently assigned as a school resource officer. During her time away from work, Laura enjoys spending time with her children, her husband, and her entire family. Laura also spends a lot of her time doing homework as a current student at Fresno Pacific University, where she is studying social welfare with a minor in psychology. Please join me in congratulating Officer Laura Torres Salcido as our December Employee of the Month.
First off, I want to say thank you to everybody that came out here and joined me, especially council, my family, my coworkers that I consider family as well. Admin, thank you for allowing me to be up here today and recognizing the work I do for the city of Porterville. And like I said again, I really thank you guys for taking the time to coming out here and recognizing all of the work I have done for the city. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. We will now move into oral communications. This is the opportunity to address the council on any matter of interest, whether on the agenda or not. Please address all items not scheduled for public hearing at this time. Unless additional time is authorized by the council, all commentary shall be limited to 3 minutes. You will be asked to state your name and city of residence For the record, if you are here for the public hearing, item number 11, please hold your comments when that item comes up on the agenda. You will be given the opportunity at that time. Hang on a second. We will continue to adhere to the 3-minute per speaker time period so that council in an orderly fashion will proceed with decision-making responsibilities this evening. 1 minute per Board of Supervisors. Please.
Well, good evening. I'm Larry McCarry, Tulare County Board of Supervisors. We have Dennis Townsend here, he's your area representative, and we have Amy Shupkin, who represents District 3. Martha, we're here tonight to recognize you. We've all worked with you, and we just have a certificate of recognition for all your hard work in your many, many years. I know that, we know that I believe next week is your last meeting, but we couldn't make it, and it's a big meeting for you too, because you have a lot of events going on. So we wanted to come tonight and provide you the certificate of recognition. It just says, in honor of your years of dedicated public service as city council member and mayor at Porterville City Council, thank you for your commitment and dedication to represent the residents of Porterville and for your collaboration with the county of Tulare. Your lifetime contributions to the community is to be commended. Signed by myself, Larry McCarry, Supervisor Pete Vanderpool, Supervisor Amy Shuckman, Supervisor Eddie Valero, and Supervisor Dennis Townsend. Martha, could you come down so we can present these to you?
I'll wait till we do it.
Don't break your hands.
Okay, don't smile. All right, I got a couple there. Nice job. Congratulations.
I don't think that was a minute, so I'm going to take my minute. And Martha, thank you. You know, it's been mostly over the last few years. You were vice chair of TCAG when I was chair, and I really got to know you a lot better then. But thank you for that service, and also for your service on the task force on homelessness for the county. And as Larry said, it's really about collaboration, and we strive to be good partners with all of our cities. And with you, it's been that way, so we appreciate it very much. And best wishes on your retirement, whatever that
I'm going
means.
to be raising eyebrows.
Well, I'm
And
sure you
something
will.
else.
You know, and I appreciate it, but I have to admit, I won't be getting those texts Monday morning saying, why isn't the agenda out yet for the EDC? And there's minutes, there's a long date on the minutes on the task force. I won't miss that, but I will miss you, all right? Thank you.
Thank you.
And Martha, just to add to that, you know, anyone that serves in public office is really, it's a selfless act. You're out there on behalf of your community. And so you've not only done that at the city council level, but as both Amy and Larry have mentioned, that you've done that on county commissions and county boards and things that actually represent the whole county and not only the city of Porterville. And so we really thank you for that, and that's kind of, this recognition is really about that, the many years of selfless service and dedication to not only the city of Porterville, but also the whole Tulare County. Thank you, Martha.
So, yeah. Martha, I just want to say thank you. You know, I just completed my first term on the Board of Supervisors, and you've been a true mentor the entire time. Through TCAG, everything you've done, being out in public, and I really appreciate it. And, you know, communication regularly, and I'm excited to see what this eyebrow thing is going to be, because she's called me about a lot of things, and we had a lot of conversations, but she won't tell me. I'm like, oh. But anyway, thank you so much. You are a mentor. And there's only 3 or 4 lines on that certificate, but I mean, we can go on forever of all the public service you've had. And so thank you so much, and best luck on your new endeavor. Thank you.
I want to say something before the 3 of you walk away, all right? When I first got on to city council in 2016, it was at large. It was not district elections. And the vibe, and it was intense. And it was about talking to people, support and recognitions. But once you get onto city council, the advantage that I had is I attended meetings for 13 years before I decided to run. And with that being said, serving on city council has been an incredible journey. And I was told to get on TCAG by Virginia Garola. She said, if you're going to learn about infrastructure, buildings, bridges, transportation, to bring it back to your community, TCAG, and that's where I got to work with each one of you. And Amy, it's been wonderful. Dennis and Larry, we have been together for so many projects, so many meetings, and you're going to miss my articulate notes when I read them out on all of that. Nobody's going to be able to follow suit. No. But with that being said, I love you guys. Thank you very much for this warm felt recognition.
Thank you.
It is appreciated.
Merry Christmas and God bless.
Merry Christmas. Now, is there anyone else that would like to come forward for oral communications? Please do so. Please state your name and city of residence for the record.
God, that's a hard act to follow. Fernando? Regarding item 13 on the agenda, last meeting I spoke and said that I don't have a problem with it saying Merry Christmas. I have a problem with who's paying for it. If it's going to represent only one faith organization or faith, it should be paid for by the people of that faith. If the taxpayers are going to pay for it, then it must be non-secular. And what you're receiving is the actual guidelines and for the application to have one of those banners. You notice I highlighted 3 words. Banners have to be non-religious in nature. What's the second largest Christian holiday? Christmas. The first largest is Easter, even though it was a stolen holiday from the pagans. But that's neither here nor there. The other item you're receiving is a letter that James Madison sent to Robert R. Livingston and James Monroe on March 2nd, 1803, regarding the purchase of some land for a church by the government. And he opposed that because the government should not be buying land for churches of any faith. And on the front is actually a quote from that letter, which states, "The purpose of separation of church and state is to keep forever from these shores the ceaseless strife that has soaked the soils of Europe with blood for centuries." More people have been killed on this planet in the name of God by any iteration of the name of God than any other cause. So nobody is clean in that respects. But we need not to support just one faith base in our city. It needs to be secular. We have Jews here. We have Hindus here. We have Sikhs here. We have atheists here. We have deists. We have theists. So think of that when you make that decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward? Please do so.
Hi, I'm Andrew Bazzelli, and I live in the city of Porterville. I've come to ask the council to have city staff reevaluate their participation in the Eastern Tule GSA, the Groundwater Sustainability Agency. There are troubling signs that Eastern Tule Agency is not committed to achieving sustainable use of groundwater. There are reports of the Eastern Tule Agency having signed legal agreements with the operators of the Bryant-Kern Canal to pay for repairs caused by unsustainable groundwater pumping, but Bryant and the Eastern Tule disagree on what the agreements actually say. There are reports of continued land subsidence, which imperils recent repairs to the canal. The further damage may subject the city of Porterville to significant future financial liability through its participation in the Eastern Tule Agency. California groundwater regulators have rejected sustainability plans from the Eastern Tule Agency as not likely to result in the required sustainable use of groundwater. These troubling signs appear to have motivated two nearby irrigation districts to leave the regional Eastern Tule Agency to form their own groundwater sustainability agencies. For these smaller districts to take on the regulatory burden of compliance indicates significant motivation to leave the larger regional agency. These troubling signs are reason enough for city staff to reevaluate the process through which they will achieve groundwater sustainability and how they will demonstrate such sustainable use of water. I do not have enough information to make a recommendation as to whether it best serves the interest of the city of Porterville to remain in the Eastern Tule Groundwater Sustainability Agency or to join the two recent breakaway irrigation districts, or for the city of Porterville to form its own agency. I merely see troubling indications that require thoughtful reevaluation. Thank you for hearing me tonight.
Thank you very much for that information. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward? Please do so under oral communications.
Hello, Rafaela Woods. I work in Porterville. I'm here tonight. Well, I'm here every city council meeting, as Marta pointed out at the last meeting, but I'm here tonight to say two thank yous. I want to say thank you to the city staff. I'm not sure how many of you are aware, but we have launched a Redo It, Revitalize Downtown Task Force. And we have already quite a few merchants on board. And we've reached out to city staff, and they've been absolutely amazing. They've gone above and beyond, and they're doing everything they can to help us to revitalize downtown Main Street. So if you want more information, reach out to me, and if you want to be on board, that'd be fantastic. Especially the ones who are still going to be on council, so we're going to hit you up. My second thank you is to all of you. Kelly can't be here tonight. It's to all of you. We don't agree on everything. With some of you, we agree on very little. But you're doing a thankless job. You're there for the full length of your term to represent people who actually just get really annoyed with you when things don't go their way. And I appreciate it. I recognize you. Martha, we go back many years. Our personal friendship is not gonna end, but I am in awe of what you've done for Porterville. I'm in awe for what you've done for women. So thank you. Don, thank you for stepping in at short notice to take over. Thank you, Ray. Even when we disagree, he always smiles at me. And thank you, Greg, because I'm sure we'll keep arguing over certain things over time. But honestly, it doesn't matter whether we agree or disagree. That's the beautiful thing about this country. We can agree to disagree, but regardless of how we feel, I really appreciate everything you've done. So thank you, city staff, and thank you, city council.
Thank you. Thank you. Please hold your applause, please, please. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward for oral communications? Please do so.
Yeah, Ed McCurvey. I wasn't going to say anything till the hearing, but this came up, so I'm going to answer. You know, there's been a rise of a lot of anti-Christian bigotry in our country in the last couple of generations, and it seems to be coming to a head. There's a lot of false moral equivalencies out there about what that means, but I want to read something to you guys tonight. And And it's not a false moral equivalency about a government buying a church, which is a non sequitur, and that's a false moral equivalency. But I'm going to read you a Thanksgiving proclamation issued by President George Washington at the request of Congress on October 3rd, 1789, in the year of our Lord, which is what we celebrate at Christmas. Whereas it is the duty of all nations to acknowledge the providence of Almighty God, to obey His will, to be grateful for His benefits, and humbly implore His protection and favor, and whereas both houses of Congress have, by their joint committee, requested me to recommend to the people of the United States a day of public thanksgiving and prayer, to be observed by acknowledging with grateful hearts the many and signal favors of Almighty God, especially by affording them an opportunity to peaceably establish a form of government for their safety and happiness. It's recommended on Thursday, the 26th day of November, to be devoted by the people of the states to the service of that great and glorious being who is the beneficent author of all good that was, that is, or that will be, that we may then all unite in rendering unto Him our sincere and humble thanks for His kind care and protection of the people of this country. For the peaceable and rational manner in which we have been able to establish constitutions of government for our safety and happiness, for the civil religious liberty which we are blessed, that we may unite in the most humble offering of prayers and supplication to the great Lord and ruler of nations, to render our national government a blessing to all the people by constantly being governed by wise, just, and constitutional laws, discreetly and faithfully executed and obeyed, to protect and guide all sovereign nations, to bless them with good governments, peace, and concord, to grant unto all mankind such a degree of temporal prosperity as He alone knows best. This is written for the people of the United States by the Father of our country, pointing directly to Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, in 1789, as prompted by Congress to say, thank you for establishing the Constitution of this United States. It's important that we understand the founding of our country and why we celebrate Christmas.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward under oral communications?
Hi. My name is Camila Carrera.
Please speak into the, hang on a second, Fernando. Yeah, please speak into the microphone. You can lower it. Okay.
My name is Camila Carrera, and I wanted to discuss number 9 on the agenda. I am the events coordinator for Christmas on Main Street, held by Haven Dispensary. I'm sure you are all a bit familiar with the event details. However, I wanted to cover a few important features. This event was created with the sole purpose of creating a fun and safe environment for the community to celebrate the holidays. Porterville has few large events, Veterans Parade, the Spring Festival, to name a few, and each one has always had an amazing turnout. We at Haven want to take the next step forward into creating an annual Christmas event held in the heart of our downtown Main Street. We are incorporating many different features to bring light to our local small businesses and also creating holiday activities for families. Some of our plans include fundraising for our nonprofit, Food Link, raffle prizes for guests to join, photo opportunities with Santa, a local DJ, and a Rawhide Express train ride through our lit-up downtown street of Maine. We understand there may be some congestion due to the road closures that we are requesting to be blocked off. However, we are hoping that local residents will see the event that is taking place and will hopefully decide to attend. We will be using Centennial Park as a kid zone and a space for local schools or choirs to perform. We need the space of Main Street as well for our Rawhide Express train ride. If needed, we are willing to condense to 3 blocks closed off but we are strongly requesting to keep our event on downtown Main Street. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward? Please do so under oral communications. Do we have anyone on virtually?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank,
Andrew, my business card is in the back west hall. If you could grab that, I'd love to have a conversation with you about the ETGSA. Thank you.
we will now move on to the consent calendar. All consent calendar items are considered routine and will be enacted in one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these matters unless a request is made, in which event the item will be removed from the consent calendar. All items removed from the consent calendar for further discussion will be heard at the end of scheduled matters. We have items 1 through 10. How does council wish to proceed?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to pull item 9.
Item 9. Okay.
And if there's no further discussion or requests, I'll make the motion to accept items 1 through 8 and number 10.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. No further discussion. Call for the vote. Passes unanimous 4-0. And item number 9 will be placed at the end of item number 14 of scheduled matters. Okay. We'll now move forward with the public hearing.
Thank you, Your Honor. We do have one public hearing this evening, and that is the Permanent Local Housing Allocation 5-Year Plan Amendment Number 3. And Ms. Claudia Calderon is attending virtually, and she will be presenting this item.
Thank you, Ms. Hildreth. Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. On July 16, 2024, the City Council authorized staff to distribute a request for proposals for the design and installation of a prefabricated dining facility with commercial kitchen and office space and a sanitation facility with public restrooms and showers as an expansion of the Navigation Center. The proposal awarded on November 5th, 2024 was for $2,459,999, and this amount did not account for a 10% contingency for the project. A total of $2.5 million in American Rescue Plan Act, known as ARPA funds, was allocated, leaving a funding gap of $305,999. And then staff was directed to bring back an item to allocate the additional funds to cover the contingency cost. So as an entitlement local government, the City of Porterville has applied for 2019 through 2022 federal allocations of the Permanent Local Housing Allocation Program. And these funds have been approved for $2,056,524 over a 5-year period. And so in order to receive those funds, a 5-year plan had to be submitted as part of first year application. It is allocating PLHA funds over the 5 years beginning in 2019. So the city's approved 5-year plan outlines its intention to use the PLHA funds for the eligible activity number 6, which encompasses and is defined as assisting persons who are experiencing or at risk of homelessness, including but not limited to providing rapid rehousing, rental assistance, operating and capital costs for navigation centers and emergency shelters, and the new construction, rehabilitation, and preservation of permanent and transitional housing. So as defined above in the PLHA guidelines, capital costs for navigation centers and emergency shelters is an eligible activity. So staff is recommending that City Council consider using up to $293,840, which is the PLHA Year 4 funds, to help with the expansion of the Navigation Center. And so these funds have recently been applied for, but as they have not yet been received, we also have not yet obligated them. So if the funds for the Navigation Center, excuse me, if the funds for the Navigation Center, excuse me, I thought I have legislatures, so it's currently eligible. And if the funds are for the navigation expansion are needed to complete the project due to the identification of other funding sources or the contingency amount is not needed, then the funds can go back to be reallocated to where they're currently planned. So if this happens, then staff will bring the item back to City Council for approval to open the RFP for any year 4 funds that were not used for the expansion. Any reallocation of more than 10% of the funds triggers that the PLHA activities have to be brought before City Council and in a publicly noticed meeting, and then the final approval is then HCD. So staff is currently proposing that we amend the approved PLHA 5-year for the year 4 funds to allow for these adjustments. And this amendment will also include contingency language to ensure that if the funds for the navigation center are not needed, or if other funding sources are found, then the PLHA funds can be returned to the original intended uses. I would also like to note that there's one correction on the draft 5-year plan amendment attachment. So on page 7 of 8, the table lists 2021 and 2020 amounts for the percentages for emergency housing and bridge housing and permanent categories incorrectly. So 2020 should have been 62% instead of 66 for emergency and for bridge, and 8% instead of 4% for permanent. And for the 2021, they should have been 61% instead of 63 for emergency and bridge, and 9% instead of 7 for permanent. So this would then also change the dollar amounts respectively. However, these references to what City Council approved as Amendment 2 do not impact the current recommendation as it pertains to year 4, 2020, which are the 2022 funds. So the draft plan attachment has also been updated for me. And so at this time, the recommendation is that City Council hold a public hearing to receive public comment on the proposed 5-year plan amendment. Number 3, for reallocation of the funds, and adopt the draft resolution approving amendment number 3 to the permanent local housing allocation year 5 plan, and authorize its transmittal to the California Department of Housing and Community Development. And then staff is available for any questions.
Thank you very much for that report, Claudia. That's pretty good information. It is 7:07. I will open up the public hearing. Is there anyone that would like to come forth on this item?
Brock and Haley, address on record. I just want to commend staff for all the hard work they do on everything to help the homeless in our community. Our community was the first in the county to recognize and to do anything to really help the homeless. And that's something really to be proud of, so thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward on this item? Do we have anyone on virtually?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, it is 7:08. I will close the public hearing and bring it to council. Did council have any questions, or how would you like to proceed? Councilmember Beltran?
No questions, just want to echo the comment of great job on staff. It's a lot of work to come with this 5-year plan to get approval for the funding, but then also have that flexibility as of course it's going to be used for a navigation center purposes. So just thank you, staff, for all that hard work. I'm watching eyes glaze over as you're reading that report, but thank you, Mrs. Calderon, for that thorough report.
Councilmember Wyrock.
Thank you for the report. I'm wondering if we could maybe go into the full report and go down to page number 732, where it has the chart that she referenced and the changes in the percentages. And maybe if we could make it large enough so people can see that chart. And
Actually, if I may interrupt you, Fernando does have an updated chart to show you guys. I just didn't put it in the staff report because it was identified after the staff report has been published.
Okay, could you walk us through those 4 or 5 changes that you mentioned, the percentages that shifted, and what year?
So they were highlighted in red or like an orange red.
Mm-hmm.
And so those
2020, 21, and 22?
Yeah, 2020 and 2021. And it's under the third item, which is emergency housing and bridge housing.
Mm-hmm.
So 62, 61, they just didn't carry over correctly. Basically, it's an Excel sheet and the formula was corrupted and we copied it over.
Got it. Thank you so much. Nothing else, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
And then the yellow is what's being proposed, so it doesn't affect that.
Thank you. Councilmember Meister?
I'm ready to make a motion.
Then go for it.
My mic, there it is. I'll make a motion to go forward with staff recommendation, and great job to you all. Thank you.
We have a motion.
I'll second.
We have a second. No further discussion. Call for the vote. Passes unanimous 4-0. We'll now move on to scheduled matters.
Thank you, Your Honor. The first scheduled matter before you this evening is the consideration of establishing a standing cannabis committee. As you will recall, at the meeting of November 19th, the City Council took action to abolish the ad hoc cannabis committee established back in 2017, which was tasked with reviewing and advising the council on matters related to the establishment of local cannabis business regulations. Because the ad hoc committee's charge was complete, it was appropriate to abolish the committee, and the council then wanted to consider the establishment of a standing committee to work with staff on an as-needed basis to review cannabis-related matters. In addition to abolishing the ad hoc committee, the council did provide direction to staff to bring back an item to establish a standing cannabis committee comprised of 2 council members. Pursuant to that direction, a draft resolution has been prepared for council's consideration. It is proposed that the committee be staffed at the discretion of the city manager. With that, the staff's recommendation is that the city council consider approving the draft resolution establishing a standing cannabis committee. I am available for questions.
Thank you. We had the discussion at the last meeting, and here it is. How does council wish to proceed?
I'll make a motion to approve staff recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second, no further discussion. Passes unanimous 4-0. Thank you. Okay, now we'll move on to number 13.
Thank you, Your Honor. Next in line is the consideration of a Merry Christmas banner purchase for Main Street, and Mr. Moore will be presenting this item.
Thank you, Ms. Hildreth, Honorable Mayor, and members of the council. The City of Porterville intends to utilize the banner poles on Main Street donated by the Porterville Exchange Club at the corner of Main and Cleveland to advertise events, seasons, and/or programs that are held in Porterville. On August 20th, 2024, City Council approved a policy on the exhibition of federal, state, and city flags and banners from city buildings and facilities, all occasions. The city may, at its discretion, issue a banner permit to an individual or entity granting permission to temporarily occupy the designated banner location for the purpose of providing notice to residents and visitors about city-sponsored or city-funded special events open to the public, and that are limited to non-commercial, non-political, and of a non-religious nature. Banners on city property poles must be approved, scheduled, and coordinated by the city. On November 19th, 2024, City Council approved Councilmember Beltran's request to consider the purchase and installation of a Merry Christmas banner for Main Street as a scheduled matter at its meeting on December 3rd. The approximate cost of a banner is $1,300. Based on the lighted garland over Main Street and the Veterans Day Parade banner recently hung, it would be possible to have lights above and/or below a banner. However, the image on the banner may still be difficult to see at night, even with the lights. The cost to hang lights on the banner would be an additional $90, and the cost of decorative garland to hang either above or below the banner would be approximately $1,000. The estimated production time of the banner is 7 business days, and the garland would take approximately 10 business days to arrive. Funds are available in the community promotion budget should the City Council approve this purchase. Staff's recommendation that the City Council provide direction on the purchase of a Merry Christmas banner for Main Street. That concludes staff report. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Councilmember Beltran, I'll start with you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, the reason for bringing this up as a proposal for council for myself is just, again, you know, we have this title of All-American City, and as spoken earlier by during oral communication, bringing some noted holiday spirit to our downtown area. We have the Christmas tree lighting ceremony, we have our Christmas parade, But this would be something that would hang over. We're not asking people that they have to participate in, but it's more of a community effort to just spread that cheer, spread that holiday spirit. I appreciate the comments earlier about different denominations, different concerns, public funds. I was doing a little bit of research, and not to go too far down that, but the state capitol has a Christmas tree that's placed every year, and it is paid for by the Department of Forestry, cuts it down and brings it down, and that's all taxpayer funded. So I appreciate kind of just how and why certain things are picked, are chosen to go forward here. We have, as council members, to discuss that. It's my belief that the community would benefit from this, not necessarily from a religious perspective, but just as a inclusive. Like you said, there's a lot of people that may not follow that faith, or maybe they are atheists and don't have a faith. This is meant just as a symbol of our community that we are trying to enjoy this time of year and think, as it was also stated in oral communication, about others, about our thankfulness of all the different things we have, religious or non-religious. And I'm fine with whatever way the council goes. That was just me, again, thinking of our all-American city, a lot of the values we have in our community, whether it's the Veterans Day Parade or just patriotism. But I think this would be a really good added touch to the Main Street decorations that already exist. I think this would be a nice added point to that. So just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Wyrock?
Councilmember Wyrick, do you mind if I give the law real quick and then the?
Please, go ahead.
Just because I figured this way, everybody,
Thank you.
we can just get this part out of the way. So
Thank you.
should have, I apologize not for jumping in right after Donnie finished the staff report. So when this was asked to be on the agenda, then I'd go and do my research as well, because, and frankly, it wouldn't be on for consideration, or at least I would have let the council know that there might be potential issues prior. So I just wanted to go on record with what the status of the law is with regard to this. My belief, just in a nutshell, is that putting Merry Christmas on a banner is not going to violate what the current status of the law is as decided by the Supreme Court. So there's quite a bit of precedent actually on this already. And thank you, Councilman Beltran, because I think you really summed up exactly, intent does matter here. So I think your intent is right in line with what is allowable. So I just want to kind of let you guys know what that is so you guys are aware. So there's two major key cases that I think are especially important Supreme Court cases for our consideration here. The first one was decided in 1971, that's Lemon versus Kurtzman, and that is the one that actually came up with the test that is more or less in most forms still used today when determining whether or not something is constitutionally allowable or whether it falls into too much of an entanglement with religion. So, and it also dealt with a holiday display. So the holiday display, or the display should have a secular, that means a non-religious purpose primarily. It should avoid advancing or inhibiting religion, generally speaking, and it needs to avoid what we call an excessive entanglement with religion. So that's the basic test, but the case that kind of really speaks to this specifically was decided in 1984, and that's Lynch v. Donnelly. That was a case concerning a public agency and the display of a nativity scene that also had secular display of like Santa and reindeer. So that was actually what was reviewed. That was the specific facts there. And the court there found that because of the secular elements that were combined, it was not an overall push for a specific religion from that standpoint. So with the Merry Christmas banner, Merry Christmas is actually considered quite secular this day and age. I know, and I'm about to say things that are going to make both sides of this fight unhappy, but that's just what the legal status is. The legal status is that many people celebrate Christmas that are not very religious. I mean, it is kind of associated with the time of year. So, but that being said, it does have Christmas in the wording, and there is a religious intent behind it. But I do believe that you can that there is, if you have a display of a Merry Christmas banner, and especially if you include things like Christmas trees or candy canes or snowflakes or those kinds of symbols, I think that it falls within what would be permitted under the current status of the law. So just for the record.
I appreciate that information. I should have asked you first. No, I'm sorry. Councilmember Wyrock.
I just wrote a couple things down in preparation for tonight's meeting. I will wish everybody that I meet Merry Christmas. Sometimes I hear Merry Christmas back. Sometimes I hear Happy Holidays back. They don't ever seem to take offense. They don't take a swing at me. There's no menorah, there's no manger on this banner. It's the words Merry Christmas for the holiday. And I thank the council member for bringing this forward and describing his intent to help us celebrate this season in this way. And that's my only comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Meister.
So just a couple questions. It's going to take 10 days to do the banner. Are we trying to put it up this year? That'd be the goal. So we need to talk about the design tonight?
It would take around 7 business days to produce it, and then staff would have to design it as well, yes, so.
Gotcha. And then another law that was just ruled on, and it had to do with the football coach who was a teacher who would pray before games, and I believe he got fired for doing so. And it went all the way to Supreme Court, and I want to say the Lemon Law, but. Okay, yes, and so that was overruled currently? Or am I correct?
It's always being distinguished.
Okay.
So what, was that a Supreme Court, was that a U.S.
That
Supreme
went to
Court
the
case?
Supreme Court,
Yeah.
and so.
No, they haven't, it hasn't been expressly reversed, no.
Okay.
Which you don't want it to be, because it actually did find in favor of the agency there as well, so. But it did also develop the test for how you review it.
Yeah, and
There's
I know
another-
there's states like Oklahoma where the governor is pushing the 10 Commandments into
Right.
classrooms.
So there, right, and there are now, and so those are going to be, and so there, for every, there's not just one religious freedom case law. This was the ones that deal specifically with displays and symbols. Your crosses are a whole nother matter, so that's a whole nother area of litigation that actually has been, quite frankly, litigated against public agencies. But we've battled that over time, and just the plaintiff.
So if this
Back in
body,
the
this is kind of just off the wall and just being totally transparent here, but if this body voted to put the 10 Commandments on the wall back there with the Constitution, what would that be?
That could be litigated.
Litigated. That can be litigated. Interesting. And you don't believe the Lemon Law?
I don't know, well, I mean, I don't know. I have to look at where we are with that. It's gone back and forth, that area, but this is a little bit, these are holiday displays specifically. Again, I mean, you would look at it under Lemon versus Kurtzman. So, but there is a specific law on the 10 Commandments, and I know that there's a push to put that, there's been various pushes in places to do that. I don't, quite frankly, I mean, we're not talking about that tonight, but I could certainly give you the status of that. This is to deal with specifically with holiday displays, which, remember, are also temporary displays. Everything is factually specific, because now you're dealing with something that's up all the time. What it's up, how it's up, what it's up with, because Lemon versus Kurtzman, again, also talks about, it's all, the intent behind it matters, according to Lemon versus Kurtzman. So there's another case law, there's a case that came out of the Seventh Circuit that actually utilized a different test, theoretically expanded it, which might be kind of what you're also thinking about. So, but that is not that hasn't been decided on by the Supreme Court yet. That's in the Seventh Circuit, we're in the Ninth, so it's not necessarily, it could be considered maybe persuasive, but not necessarily precedential. So you have to look at those kinds of things. So, no, but I think that here, I mean, what I looked at was what's before us. And I do think, I mean, quite frankly, even just Merry Christmas by itself is probably fine. I know that there's some discussion about potentially putting some lighting around it and everything else. So, but I do think it helps to have, like, as Councilmember Beltran said, promoting sort of the holiday season, promoting your downtown businesses. You do want to make this, I do emphasize, I mean, you have a policy that says you're not going to be pushing religion. So if you decide you're going to do that, you guys also have to talk about changing your policy, and we're going to have a whole nother different discussion.
I'm not
Because
saying
right
we need to put
now, your
baby
policy
Jesus up
currently
there.
says no push, doing that.
Yeah, and I'm not well read enough into that Lemon Law to totally argue with you at all. So.
Oh, no, and your point's well taken, though, because Lemon versus Kurtzman, that was decided in 1971. Of course, there's been changes. That's just the basic test, but it still is in existence. It hasn't been completely overruled yet.
Yeah.
I mean, and it really, I think we'll see more religious cases because of, you do have a more conservative court now, so there'll be pushes by various advocacy groups to kind of see how far they can push that, that envelope to see what, where do we fall between, because remember, it's freedom of religion versus establishment of religion. Where is that line in between? You don't want to do either. You don't want to infringe on freedom of religion, but you also don't want to veer on the side of establishment of a particular religion.
Well, and you made a great point. The ordinance we adopt, or the street banner guidelines, it says non-religious nature, and that's what we adopted.
Right.
And Merry Christmas is franchised, right? It's used in commercial
Right.
products. So really, we're not taking a religious stance by saying Merry Christmas, right?
I arguably, yes. That's what I believe.
So I am,
Right now.
and I think this is a great idea, Raymond. I am in full support. I love the idea of Merry Christmas. I don't know if we need to throw Santa Claus or reindeers or anything like that up there, just plain Merry Christmas. That's my feel on it, but I'm willing to listen to the
Well,
rest.
I'm a Merry Christmas person, and I was contemplating, well, if we're going to do a design, I would like to see the teal background with the white letterings and snowflakes, but that's just my opinion. Well, first of all, I'm glad it was brought to the table, first and foremost, and we heard what we can and what we can't. And I would be supportive for small-town business owners to promote their businesses in this festivity and to move forward with making a decision to that regard, so I would support it.
I was going to make a final comment. Go ahead.
Please go ahead. No, no, he's not.
talked about the design. I'm in support of that as well.
That's what I
Well,
was going to say,
something
too.
like a teal in background with the white lettering and the snowflakes and make it look kind of snowy with the Sierra Nevadas in the background.
So, yeah, if staff can look at, especially, I'm more considerate of the evening time.
Yes.
So whether that's lighted or garlands, or even to Madam Mayor's point of maybe a different color background that would contrast the letters better in the evening. So I give you guys judgment on what would look appropriate in the evening.
Okay, that sounds good.
Donnie, we want it to be cute, okay?
All right.
I have a great staff person, not myself, that can get it nice and cute and look very professional.
Okay. All right, so
for
do you need the
staff-
motion that we authorize? We've made the motion with the design contemplation and all of that to
So
go
my
ahead with the
understanding is
banner.
that, yes, move forward with the banner,
Move
no
forward.
symbols, just Merry Christmas, and staff will make the design.
Great.
Yes.
All right, I motion that. It's
I'll
in
second.
here, it's the community promotion budget. Okay, we have a motion, a second, no further discussion, call for the vote. Passes unanimous, 4-0, thank you. All right, moving on to item number 14.
Yes, Your Honor, that is the consideration of adoption of resolution approving the City of Porterville's position pay plans for 2020 through 2024, and Ms. Andrade will be presenting this.
Thank you, Ms. Hildreth, Honorable Mayor, and members of the council. After the conclusion of each labor negotiation, city staff presents the council with a fully executed memorandum of understanding, the MOU, restating benefits as well as amendments pertaining to wages, benefits, and working conditions as negotiated. City council acceptance and approval of the MOU is then demonstrated by council authorization and adoption of a resolution ratifying the agreed-upon changes. Staff is then directed to amend all other documentation that may be necessary to document and implement said negotiated changes. When the California Public Employees Retirement System, CalPERS, audits specific employee accounts, the MOUs with attached resolutions have historically satisfied CalPERS's requirement for documentation. Within the last few months, CalPERS has requested that each amendment of the position pay plan be approved and adopted by the council with its recommended minor revisions. CalPERS has requested that the council recertify the revised position pay plans for the time period beginning in 2020 to present. Staff recommends that the City Council adopt the draft resolution approving and ratifying the City of Porterville's position pay plans for 2020 to 2024. This concludes my report, and I'm available for questions.
I appreciate the report that you have given and presented. Councilmember Beltran, do you have any questions? No questions. Councilmember Wyrock?
No questions.
No questions. Councilmember Meister?
I have a motion to go with staff recommendation.
All right. And a second. No further discussion. Call for the vote. Passes unanimous 4-0. All right, we will now go to item number 9.
Thank you, Your Honor. That is the approval for community civic event, Haven Dispensary and Food Link for Tulare County, Christmas on Main Street, December 14th, 2024. We are available to answer questions. We can present the staff report, whatever the pleasure of the council.
I appreciate that. Councilmember Beltran, you're the one that asked for it.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
So my concern with this goes back to, over a year ago with another community event request by a downtown business to close Main Street off to celebrate, I believe at that time it was their anniversary of their business. We were able to find to solve that issue. They had the event on the side roads that didn't impede Main Street. That's similar to my concern with this event. I reached out to businesses in that area that would be affected by the closure. There's significant issues. The Elks Lodge is having an event that evening for Porterville Unified School District. They're anticipating over 100 people to attend that event from, I believe it was from 5 to 8 p.m., which is exactly the same time as this event. Also, 3 different restaurants. 2 have significant access problems where, had this event be approved as is, would pretty much, they feel that they wouldn't even open that day. It would be that big of a problem. The last one didn't get back to me on their concerns. So on some of those, everybody wants to support this, even those business owners. They felt that this was a good cause. And I appreciate, during oral communication, you had stated, if there's some options that we could work with. Do you know if you can come up to the microphone, please? I had a couple of questions. Thank you. I didn't get your first name again.
Camila Carrera.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you for offering to put this event on for Food Link. I mean, that's obviously, there's a lot of people in our community that utilize Food Link. Do you know how many vendors you have as of now? Because the list was a little smaller, but I hear you have more now.
Yes, we have an updated list. We're at 28
Okay.
right now, and we have 5 pending.
Okay. Are any of those vendors large size, like big vehicles, or are they kind of like just like a table and like a pop tent area, or?
We have a few trailers.
Okay.
Yeah,
large size.
mostly our food vendors.
The food ones? Okay. I was curious, I'm not sure how well you know the area, if you believe that possible usage of the parking lot area behind Spin Cycle and the San Joaquin Valley College there, if that parking lot area is big enough, and then also with maybe the closure of those side streets on that side of Main, which would be the east side of Main, if you think utilizing those streets and that back parking lot, do you feel that that might be enough room for you guys? Because I don't like to interrupt Main Street.
Yes, yeah, and we've hosted a few events in the past at our property, and at the most, we've had maybe up to 14 vendors, and it's very difficult to squeeze that many in there, and we're not trying to create this event just as a one-time thing. We're trying to create it to be an annual event. So hopefully, maybe next year it'll be twice as big. Maybe we'll have double the amount of sponsors and vendors and just more attraction. But this is our first time doing an event at this size.
Right.
So we are trying our best to keep it on Main Street.
Yeah,
We think like with the usage of the street, it brings a lot more attention. A lot of people would be willing to come out, especially to use Centennial Park. We have that rented out as a kid zone. We're gonna host performances there. We're gonna throw a few booths in there as well. So our goal is really to stay on Main Street. We are willing to condense if that's a possibility.
Okay. Did you happen to reach out to any of the businesses before you
I
planned
have
this?
not. I actually just heard of that event. They let me know about the one at Elks Lodge.
Okay.
We are trying to reach out to them to see if there's a way we can somehow collab or maybe even start our event, not on Morton, but one street over, to still allow the traffic flow of Elks Lodge as well. We were considering those options.
I think that would be a big start, because the other restaurant near there, El Nuevo, it would completely cut them off of
Yeah.
the side street and Main Street. So if Main Street was open up to, is that Thurman or Harrison?
Harrison?
Yeah, that would allow access to them. I think the other ones have some back area that they could utilize. My other question was, you said you'd like to make this an annual event. I know we have the Christmas tree lighting ceremony down Main Street.
Yes.
We have obviously the Christmas parade.
Yes.
A lot of organizations do fundraisers, but they don't close down Main Street. And so that's another one of my concerns is we have, from my count, 48 nonprofits in Porterville. And it's just a concern that if all of them want to start having events down Main Street, this can start to create, well, we want to do something, and we just open up that can for it. But I am open to limiting that open space. I don't know, I would like to hear what the rest of council has to say. But like you said, shrinking that print, whether it's using the parking lot behind Spin Cycle area, that's a city-owned parking lot, or shrinking down the areas of Main Street, like you said. So, thank you.
Councilmember Wyrock, did you have any questions?
The 14th is right around the corner, so it's kind of late notice, but could the city be helpful and find some space to help both the Elks Lodge, the businesses, and Haven's fundraising activities occur a block off of Main Street?
So I was just conferring with Chief Costello, and what I would propose is if the council would feel comfortable with staff working to resolve the concerns that the council member has identified, that we do believe that we could come up with some mutually agreeable solutions. We do think it could be shrunk. I don't know if Chief Costello wanted to elaborate.
Yeah, just a little information. I was writing some notes down as you were discussing it. So National Night Out event that the PD puts on, we had 28 booths, and we went from just to the south of Bank of America to Putnam, which gave us enough time, to have a safe and most effective traffic flow and traffic plan on the sides. And if their event and Springfest was probably double that. You're talking anywhere between 60 to 90 booths, and that's the area that we're discussing here. If we looked at, we have traffic plans for a condensed version of this, like National Night Out, which would probably benefit both the Elks and this event, and we could have a traffic plan done within a day for this event, if that helps.
Thank you. No
And it's
further-
the same size as our event of National Night Out. Based on the numbers or the additional 5, it would be similar.
National Night Out had plenty of elbow room. You could walk around, and it was.
How many blocks is that, if you don't mind me asking?
That's about 3 city blocks. If you went just to the north of Centennial Park, you would also have Centennial Park. We would be able to use a normal traffic plan that we do for similar events of that size and be able to block the alleys, because we utilize police cars and hard barriers for this, for the potential of vehicles getting inside that area for the safety of the event and the safety of the personnel that are working the event.
Councilmember Meister, do you have any questions?
Well, I'm all for producers trying to drive consumership downtown and promote our downtown while doing so. It sounds like there is somewhat of a compromise, which I'm willing to lean with, if Raymond could see that, and if that's something you guys could work with.
Yeah, for sure. I
Okay.
think just our main goal is to have it on Main
Have
Street.
an event, yes, absolutely, and I love the idea. I'm going to say this because it's Haven and it's a dispensary. If there is marijuana being smoked on Main Street during children event, I'm going to do everything I can next year to stop it. Right?
Yes.
So
that-
it has to be checked. It
Yes.
has to be checked. So with that, I totally support it. I thank you for trying to drive consumership downtown. It's exciting to see business owners wanting to produce. It's good. So thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. I have heard, I have listened, and I know that staff will be working with you directly to that regard, and you're accepting of modifications. So with that being said, I will make the motion to approve the event with the modifications that be deemed necessary between staff and you. Okay, Camille, are you good with that?
Yes, thank
All
you,
right,
guys.
I've made that motion.
Second.
No further discussion, let's just call, oh, okay.
So my last comment to that is, and work with staff with this, would be the closure, instead of going to Putnam, would maybe go from the north side of Bank of America, because it's closed on a Saturday, and then kind of just move it, shift it north versus south of Main.
Yeah,
Because you're
usually-
impacting Don
so
Vino's, the seller.
Usually we'll set a buffer zone. That's why we go to we even went to Putnam with National Night Out.
Okay.
Obviously, for the safety of the event and the potential of a vehicle being used as a weapon, that's always a concern with past events that there has been some tragedies. So we always give ourselves a buffer with either vehicles or hard barriers when we're creating these traffic safety plans. So that's why we even closed it down all the way to Putnam for National Night Out.
Those businesses have back doors
Yeah.
with parking lots.
They do, but they also share it with other businesses. And so that was just a concern that was brought to me by those business owners, that when Main Street's closed, people they won't even try. They'll just go somewhere else. So that was just a concern of trying to maybe move it north to Bank of America. SJVC isn't open on a weekend, so just, it frees up the, a competitor, Culture Club, would be closed off. So it's just having less impact on, because the further you go south, south, the more businesses are impacted. So that's all.
And just a thought on this and trying to understand your logic. You're saying when people go downtown, they don't go to those businesses? Culture won't get business when we drive consumership downtown?
When you're impeding traffic, if you're going to go down and there's traffic backed up, or it looks like it's closed, a lot of people aren't going to try to figure out why. They may just go to another venue instead of figuring out a way to get there.
Gotcha.
I would say it goes both ways. Half the
Thank you.
people are going to be confused, and the other half are going to be like, it's going to bring in more business too, because there will be quite a bit of
I just think
people out
about the
there.
effect, it's a hard balance, because
Yeah,
it's a
it goes
good
both
cause.
ways.
Don't want to negatively affect those that are already there, so.
Yeah.
I'm going to summarize it.
Yeah, if I
So-
may, in discussion with staff, we actually have one of our lieutenants in here that produces the traffic plans and the safety plans and also works on the CEEs for the PD. We can look at different options, including the one that you just discussed. The conversations we were having this morning about this event was, we also didn't want to put the bank out but they have a large parking lot. So we can look at different options on what is the best safety plan and what is best for the businesses. We can try to work on several that I think will work, and then we'll present them to Ms. Hildreth.
Thank you, and I'm going to bring it back. We have a motion, we have a second, and I am trusting that staff will work with Camilla to this regard, and no further discussion. I'm going to call for the vote. Passes unanimous,
Chief.
4-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We will now move on to the AB 1234 reports. This is the time for all AB 1234 reports required pursuant to Government Code 53232.3. The first one is the Tulare County Task Force on Homelessness. Claudia Calderon and I attended in person on November the 20th. The minutes for the month of October 16th were approved. I abstained because we had been to the League of Cities the month before, so I wasn't present. They passed unanimously. Betsy McGovern Garcia of Self Help Enterprises provided the task force updates with housing developments. She reported on surrounding areas such as Neighborhood Village, which is in Goshen, the first mobile home park in 10 years, Then the Visalia Navigation Center rental projects, Los Arroyos in Farmersville, Santa Fe Commons in Tulare, the Loft in Visalia, Palm Terrace and Lindsay, Sierra in Dinuba. Highlighted was a veteran senior component, continuing with partnerships. She is currently working with the city of Porterville through Claudia Calderon, and they are seeking projects. 2 applicants of interest for the Youth Advisory Board for the task force. One was Brandy Jackson Villarreal, County of Tulare. She submitted an application. The other was Amanda Chavez of CSAT, who was absent and had not submitted the application for this meeting. Brandy Jackson Villarreal was recommended to forward to the Board of Supervisors, unanimous approval by the members present. We were given an update on homeless housing assistance and prevention program. The update on the Red Cross cot donations. Thank you to the City of Porterville staff for coordinating. We were recipients for the Navigation Center and the Army. I believe we received some cots to that regard. I believe additional cots were going to be asked for because they had some extra ones. Even though we didn't see it on the agenda, I want to thank Claudia because we were prepared to provide updates just in case. Nothing to report because it wasn't agendized. The meeting for the month of December is canceled. The next meeting will be in January 2025. That concludes my homeless task force report for 2024. All right, moving right along. Their library facility planning, there's no report. Vice Mayor's not here. Okay, that takes care of that. Oral communications, is there anyone that would like to come forth in oral communications? Seeing none. Now we'll go into other matters. I'm going to look at Patrice first before I turn it over to council.
Yes, I was informed today that Councilmember Wyrock would not be in attendance at the next council meeting. There will be an adjourned council meeting on December 10th at 5:30, and which would have been his last meeting, but in light of the fact that he will not be able to attend due to a prior commitment with his wife, we wanted to acknowledge that this is your last meeting, and I will turn it over to Mayor Flores.
Council member, it is an honor for me to present you with a recognition plaque for the service that you have given the city of Porterville. Know how much your work has been appreciated, and it did not go unrecognized. So on behalf of the city of Porterville, in recognition of your dedication and exceptional service as a member of Porterville City Council.
Thank you.
Present you with- Councilmember Beltran, other matters. Yeah.
Are we there yet? Okay. I saw that the Christmas tree lighting ceremony had a great turnout, so it was great, again, to see all those who put that event together and for the community to come out and enjoy that event. It was really nice. The Chamber of Commerce Awards were held, I can't remember, last week, the week before? It's all a blur. But what a great event to highlight the Man and Woman of the Year, the organizations, the youths, the nonprofits. Just what a great event to highlight all those people in our community. Even just all those people that were nominated. It's just great to know we work, we just live by some really great individuals that are always giving of themselves to our community. Welcome back, Chief Cogburn. Pleased to see you back. And as much I know that Skiles this will be my last meeting with you, I think, because I won't be here on the 17th. So just thank you for your service and all you've done. I know just a wealth of knowledge and experience, and just I know how much the department loves you. So thank you for your service with us. With that, just everybody have a great as we go into our holidays. Merry Christmas if I don't see you. Thank you.
Councilmember Wyrock.
Sure. The other day at the Veterans Parade, I had the chance to see Mr. McCurvey, and I'm glad you're here tonight at these final moments. I'd like to congratulate you on your win. You're going to do a great job for the city. I remember when we were both applying for the position, I pointed at you and I said, hey, if I wasn't here, he's your guy. And the community spoke and they said, he's our guy. And I just want to wish you the best of success in the coming 4 years. With that, I would like to share this opportunity to express my heartfelt gratitude to the incredible staff of the city of Porterville. Every morning when our residents wake up and go about their daily lives, they may not realize the dedication and expertise that makes their city run so smoothly, but I've had the privilege of seeing it firsthand. From public works, ensuring our streets are maintained, to our finance department managing our resources with precision, to our planning team shaping our city's future, clean parks and valued civic events by our parks and leisure departments, economic and community development, public transit, safety, administrative services departments, every department truly works tirelessly behind the scenes. What I believe truly sets our staff apart is their proactive approach to city management. Problems are addressed before they become issues, questions are answered before they need to be asked, and solutions are implemented before challenges arise. This isn't just efficiency, it's excellence at work. In my 2 years serving the city, I've been fortunate to learn from so many of you. Your mentorship has been invaluable. You've taught me not just about city operations, but about dedication, integrity, and what it truly means to serve our community. Your wisdom and guidance have shaped my understanding of public service, and for that I will always be grateful. As we look to the future, I ask that you extend the same unwavering support and guidance to our new city council that you so generously shared with me. Your expertise and institutional knowledge are vital to Porterville's continued success. The next 4 years hold tremendous opportunity for our city, and you are the foundation upon which that vision will be met. Our city stands at the threshold of exciting possibilities. The groundwork you've laid and continue to maintain creates an environment where progress isn't just possible, it's inevitable. Your commitment to improving the quality of life for all residents is evident in everything you do, from the largest projects to the smallest detail. To each member of our city staff, you may not always be in the spotlight, but you are always essential. Your professionalism, dedication, and expertise make Porterville not just a city, but a community we're all proud to call home. As I step aside, please know that you have my continued support and deepest respect. I join our residents in looking forward to the great things you will continue to accomplish for Porterville. Thank you for your service, your dedication, and most importantly, for being the remarkable people you are. Thank you, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, for your friendship and service. And I wish everybody a happy holidays, a very Merry Christmas, and full and thriving health. Thank you.
Councilmember Meister.
Well, how do you follow that? It's been an honor, Don, to serve the people, right, and be in this and doing the closed sessions. And we may not have always been like-minded on certain issues, but it has been an honor. And same with Madam Mayor. I know you're going to be here the next meeting, but you can see as the Board of Supervisors coming in and saying you're the mentor, it's what an honor, right? And you've been so to all of us. So wish you both the best, and we do have one more meeting together. So, Don, thank you. To staff, you know, we live in wild times, and I think of just the national level to the city level. We have a new council coming on, city managers on the table. There's, some would say chaos, but I have great hope, and I have ease here at the local level because of the accomplishments, the integrity, just the job well done from this staff. And I believe in you guys. And I know even with Patrice Lee, I'll admit out loud on record, when John left, I was worried. And it's been seamless at that moment. And I believe, and it's nothing against you, Patrice, because you have great staff, that it will continue to be seamless. I believe that with all my heart. I did not know, Shannon, you're retiring, huh? How did I miss this one? What was this, on Facebook or something? Yes, okay. Gotcha, out the back door. Congratulations. Chief Cogburn, it's great to have you back. Do not let Jake be too hard on you. You know, elbow him back, you tower him, take him. So with that, to the community, exciting times, Thanksgiving, to the holiday, Christmas, the Veterans Day. Chief at the Elks Lodge giving the Elks that certificate of recognition for the Veterans Dinner. That was a great time. Madam Mayor was there. I've missed the last month. So also Mr. Bartow, Skiles, Knight, and Ridenhour, thank you guys for attending the town hall for Dennis Townsend. I was sick and you guys came up big. I know Madam Mayor was there as well. And so thank you guys for representing our city when the county's coming to our town, right? And we're showing more presence, so I appreciate that. And to that, I'll see you all on the 10th. Thank you.
Okay. Don, it has been a pleasure working with you. And I vividly remember when you got appointed, and there was the humility and the outpour, and I have never forgotten that. Has been a pleasure.
Maybe I'm not done either.
No, I'm not done. I'm not done. You want to join me in raising eyebrows? With that being said, Chief Cogburn, I am so happy to see you, but I have to tell you, leaving it in the hands of a marauder, all right. It was good. It was wonderful. It was a seamless, but I really appreciate you being back, and thank you, Shannon, for everything that you've done. Like I said, marauders all the way, all right? The Porterville Chamber Annual Awards banquet was really, it's nice to see the people with the recipients and everybody, and seeing members of the community come together. It's one that I enjoy all the time to see that. And we'll see you at the Christmas parade on Thursday, as well as on First Friday Coffee for the delivery of the State of the City. Everyone is welcome to attend. I don't know who's got the time. Who's got the time? Julia, do we have to keep on going to your time? I don't want to. That's why I'm saying that.
8 o'clock works for me.
Dominic, is there anything you'd like to say? Not tonight? How about you, Rose? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Okay. Chief Costello? Keeping it mum, all right. Usually there's always, how about you, Jason, or Mike, or anybody over here?
Well, I would like to speak for 27 minutes.
But he's done.
But,
I want to thank council for giving staff the opportunity, or the Marauder staff, to be able to work on the banner.
Oh, okay, and the
My
color
gosh.
scheme.
Blue and yellow.
Blue and white, notice I said blue and white. At what, they use blue and white sometimes.
Green.
Anyway, Rich, you're very quiet back there.
That's strategic.
Okay.
Go buy some buses.
You can go buy some buses. Patrice?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I just wanted to also thank Councilmember Wyrock for your service to the community. It is a very thankless job at times, and we do appreciate everybody that steps up to make a difference in our community. I do also want to warmly welcome back Chief Cogburn. It's great to see you and have you back. And thank you to Assistant Chief Skiles. He did an outstanding job in your absence. And I must say that I have not seen Chief Costello smile that big in quite a long time. Thank you.
All right. You're still a marauder. Marauders step up to the plate all the time. All right, with that being